Hi, today I will be talking about how old is the Bible. For the longest time, I believed that the Bible was 2000 years old, or maybe older than that. But in actual fact, the Bible is not that old. I don't think it is that old. Why do I say the Bible is not that old? The reason why I say the Bible is not 2000 or 3000 years old, or maybe more, is because I've discovered African names or African words in the Bible. And when you do your research as to when exactly the Middle East people or the Europeans first invaded Africa, you realize that they always talk about the 1400s. So it is not possible that they would have known African names before they even arrived here. So I've concluded that the aging of the Bible was only for deception, because when you see that the first people who arrived in Africa were Arabs, and then they were followed by Portuguese and so forth, but as the last group, it was the British people, I suppose. Though that group is not even that old, it didn't come in here in 2000 years ago or anything like that. They came here in the 1800s or 1700s. Like the British are not that old here. So how is it possible that they can have African names or African words in the Bible, but they only encountered Africans in less than 600 years? It's not possible. Like the timeline is not working for that. So as I take you through, I hope you will be able to see the lies that the modern world is established on. Those lies are so deep. Those lies are so dark. It's very scary what they have been doing. I'm telling you, you will just wish everything just will start afresh because it is so dark. So, on the other hand, they've made sure that Africans or blacks on any other land, they have little to no history. If you ever had wondered why they did that, why we seem to have no histories, like we are people who never existed before, we only got discovered by them and then we started to have our lives, which I do not think is the truth. So when you dig deep, you will realize that everything was there in our oral history. It was just probably written also, because as I say, the writing system that we use today is coming from Africa as well. You may not believe it. I'm going to take you through another video when I'm going to show you how each letter comes from Africa. It's up to you to believe it or not. But when you see every letter with the whatever description they use, you realize that it is coming from Africa. So when education was forced onto us, it was literally just to brainwash an African mind. When I look at the things that I learned while I was still in primary school, they were not useful at all in my adult life. Nothing that I was taught was useful at all. I don't have any skill for survival from what I learned in primary school. Even in high school, some of the things, or maybe majority of the things, were not really useful. The only thing that I can really take as something that was useful is something that I have learned when I was at varsity, because that's when I learned something that I could use to get a job. But other than that, It was just to learn the language and learn a whole bunch of lies, from history to geography to anything else. We also had religious studies where we had to learn the Bible, and there were a lot of things that were being taught that I can see now it's not true. So when you're looking at the civilization that they were presenting in our history, it was talking about civilization from fake or non-existent places, and those places that they call ancient civilizations were here in Africa with different names. And when they renamed some of the places in Africa, that's when they threw everyone off, so that you never know that they are talking about the same place. And the things that they say they discovered, those people in those ancient civilizations discovered, were discovered by people in Africa, nowhere else, right here. So I'm really hopeful that I'll achieve my goal of being clear and understood. In my next video, I will look at places in Africa where they were renamed and why they may have been renamed and what was happening in those areas. That is if I'm able to find something in that area. Obviously, I'm a South African, so most of the things that I will talk about will be more on a South African environment, because that is where that's the place I'm familiar with, and other places it's only based on research. Whatever that I'll talk about is based on research, and as I say, I don't rely on any book that is written by anyone that I don't trust. So there has to be a trust first that I establish before I reference to that book. But if I don't trust, I just don't take it. I'd rather use the language as a guide for me to say what exactly are they talking about. Because as I say in the Bible, they use Hebrew and Greek, and that language is coming directly from the Bantus. Initially, I was a naysayer. I was like, no, I've read the Bible multiple times. I've never seen Bantu words. Everything I was seeing is something that I will bite my tongue to read. It was so difficult. But it's because I was reading it in English or in Zulu or any other language that I actually familiar with in South Africa. But now when I go back to Greek and also understanding that the people were writing, they were writing in only consonants, I realized that, oh, that's the word. And when you go to the meaning of the word, sometimes it is a miss, sometimes it is a hit. So right there you can tell that when they tell you that this word means this and it doesn't mean it, it's there to throw you off, so that you just continue reading, praying something, thinking you're praying the right thing, thinking you're filling your mind with faith things, when you're filling your mind with something that is completely different. And it gets dark, I'm telling you, when you read it in the Hebrew and understanding, it gets dark. It's really dark, I can tell you. I don't know why they had to do that. And the God that they're talking about in the Bible is not the same God that I speak about in my language. So that's why I say even that word God is not the word that I'm comfortable using now. I used to use it like easily, but now it's so difficult. I kind of feel like I'm trying to understand what am I invoking by calling this name, because I don't know what God is, even though they describe as a supreme being. That sounds like a name of a person more than a character, whereas in my language it's more of a character that we have in the names of God, like Umdali, the creator, Nkulunkulu, the great one, Mudimu, the most high, and so forth. So when you're using those words, you kind of have an idea as to what you're talking about. Where is God? What is God? But when we're talking about God as a word, it's like, what does that mean? Am I saying Most High? Am I saying Creator? What am I exactly am I saying? So that's another thing with the language. Because I have to use English, I will have to use some of the words that I'm not really comfortable with now. But yeah, we'll go through together this journey. Thank you.